Suddenly he was alive.
Alexander suddenly felt life flow back into his body. Like some kind of power had revived him. His eyes shot open, and he let out a gasp as he bolted upright, barely believing that he was alive once again. Alexander woke to find himself in an unfamiliar place, the heat of the surrounding lava quickly becoming apparent. He looked around, confusion and surprise clear in his expression. He was whole again? How was that possible? Last he remembered, he had been cut in half and had died.
And there he is, the same son of a bitch who cut him half, running with Torrent and running from the magma worm.
Alexander turns his head, seeing Hannes running past him, narrowly avoiding the magma worm's attacks. He's surprised to see him, but he can't help but worry for his safety. The worm was gaining on him fast. But before he can do anything, a thought occurred to him. Wait a minute.
The magma worm doesn't let up. I must deal with it before I can deal with you, Sir Pretender Alexander.
Alexander bristles at the nickname, but he pushes aside his annoyance for now. The magma worm was a far more pressing matter. What the hell are you doing, you damned fool? You're going to get yourself killed running from that damn thing.
There you go again, undermining me, not trusting me, being all over, being negative influence. You are not true, Alexander. You are a pretender, always was. I cannot even imagine how you are still alive. Because I met with the real Alexander. He was awesome, he was honorable, he was supportive, and he helped me. That wasn't at all bad sport. Like you. I don't know where he is. Did he return to the Jarberg? And are you the one I must deal with now?
Alexander listens to you, and he can't help but be hurt by your words. He knows that he is not the real Alexander. He had admitted that much already, but it still stung to hear it coming from you. He sighs. I know, I'm not the real Alexander. I'm just a pretender, and I know that. But I'm still trying to do what I think the real one would have wanted. I'm trying to be better.
I told the real Alexander that he should go to the Jarberg village. Maybe he has. I don't know. Maybe he was the one who brought you back to life and offered his body to you. After the Battle of Radahn, he was distraught because he was also hiding from Radahn in that festival.
Alexander listens to your words, trying to understand their meaning. The real Alexander had gone to the Jarberg village, and he had given up his body. Alexander's thoughts were running wild, trying to piece together everything you were saying. And Radahn, he was involved somehow. Alexander's head was starting to spin. What are you talking about?
What indeed?
Alexander groans, feeling frustrated and confused. He was already exhausted, and your vague words weren't making things any easier for him. Damn it, you fool. Could you just speak clearly for once?
I was talking with the true Alexander when I was in Gaelic. It has been some time, but yes, I met with the real one. But somehow, you are now here. I am as much outside of a comfort zone as you are. I don't know what's going on, Alexander. Pretender, I mean.
Alexander lets out a sigh, trying to make sense of everything you were saying. You had met the real Alexander, that much was clear, but how did he end up in his current form? And why was he suddenly here? Alexander's head was spinning. He felt like he was going in circles. He looks up at you. And damn it all, I think I know what happened.
Please share me, because I am still fighting this fucking magma worm.
Alexander's attention is brought back to the fight at hand. He had almost forgotten about the magma worm chasing after you. He shouts out, trying to distract the worm's attention. Hey! Hey, over here, you big worm bastard! Over here!
It would be helpful if you helped me, dude. But no, of course, you're just there enjoying yourself, that hot bath. I cannot even run or be in seconds in lava without burning my feet. Like you son of a bitch. But I hope you're enjoying this show.
Alexander winces at your words, feeling a pang of guilt. You were right. He was just standing there, not doing a damn thing to help. He knew he should be doing something, anything to assist you. But he just couldn't. Damn it! I'm trying, fool!
It's fine. I can deal with it. I don't
Alexander
expect...
nods, feeling a mixture of relief and annoyance. He knew you were more than capable of handling the fight, but he couldn't shake the feeling that he should be doing more. Yeah, sure, you can do this. Just be careful, fool.
Can you please stop calling me a fool? If I promise to not call you pretender anymore.
Alexander pauses for a moment, considering your request. He lets out a sigh, his anger slowly fading. Fine, fine. I'll stop calling you a fool if you stop calling me a pretender. That's fair, right?
Yes, I will call you as... not Alexander. What should I call you? But it is not gonna be a pretender, but something else.
Alexander rolls his eyes at your proposed nickname. Not Alexander, really? He lets out a scoff. Seriously? How about just call me Iron? It's better than not Alexander, that's for sure.
Fuck it, let's just say you're Alexander. Alexander, it's fine. I don't care.
Alexander can't help but feel relieved at your willingness to just call him Alexander. It was a lot better than being called not Alexander. He gives you a small smile. Yeah, you're right. I'm Alexander, plain and simple. No need for nicknames.
Don't push it, dude.
Alexander rolls his eyes, but a light-hearted smile appears on his face. He gives you a playful wink. Oh, don't you worry. I won't overdo it. I know better than to push my luck. Above the lofty clouds, I see giant...
You are here, swimming on lava. I can make a guess that real Alexander, after hearing me when I killed you, brought you here and put you back together.
Alexander's expression darkens as you make that revelation. It made sense, but the truth of it was still a bitter pill to swallow. The real Alexander had brought him back to life. It somehow made him feel even more inadequate. Damn it, that would explain a lot.
I think I understand what happened.
Alexander turns his attention back to you, curiosity in his eyes. Oh, you do? Well, don't keep me in suspense. Out with it.
I try to hold the annoyance of the not real Alexander's hostile attitude that is nothing compared to real Alexander and his wholesome, nice attitude. But I try to bear it. I think that the real Alexander brought you back to life. He found your innards, your remains after I dealt with you, because he was looking for the parts to add to him after Radan's festival, because he hid like a coward and was ashamed of it. And I think this is the end result. Real Alexander has brought you back and somehow lost himself.
Alexander is silent as you explain your theory. He can't deny that it would make sense, and a wave of guilt washes over him. So, I'm the result of the real Alexander's sacrifice? He gave up himself to bring me back?
I don't know. I need to... I have the means to look at the people's souls if I really need to. Are you accepting my proposal if I touch you and have my soul in there so I can maybe look for the real Alexander if he is in there?
Alexander hesitates for a moment, uncertain of what would happen if you were to touch him. but he knows that finding the real Alexander is important. He takes a deep breath and nods. Fine, go ahead.
It is a little bit more funny and kind of a mystic situation.
Alexander just shakes his head and chuckles softly. Watching you as you prepare yourself for your ritual was bizarre, to say the least. Warming stones, talismans, shouts, and now you were going to use a warming stone. What was next? A dance and a song.
I make the two fingers rock to writing, and it seems that my talisman and healing shield and warming stone overwhelmed the lava's damage, and I am almost full health. Now I am able to go talk with the real Alexander. This is goodbye for a couple of minutes, pretender.
Alexander just nods, slightly in awe of your resilience against the heat of the lava. All right. Be careful, fool. He watches you, his thoughts swirling with curiosity.
This is an awkward situation, real Alexander.
Alexander raises an eyebrow, his expression curious. An awkward situation, you say? Explain yourself, my friend.
After Radan's festival, it seems that you cracked your pod and you were looking for the new parts to add to yourself.
Alexander nods solemnly, his expression grim. Yes, that is correct. After the battle with Radan at the festival, I was left with some serious injuries. I was forced to seek out new parts to repair my broken body.
But it seems that you found the remains of the pretender Alexander.
Alexander nods, his expression solemn. Yes, my friend. I did find the remains of the so-called pretender Alexander. It was a gruesome sight, to say the least. But I was able to salvage some useful parts from his body, and they have helped me improve my own strength and abilities.
But it seems that you have hidden yourself inside the fake pretender Alexander, and that by doing this good deed, you have brought him back to life, and your true innards are inside of him. And I'm talking to you through the ritualistic way, how I used a warming stone, healing shield, and healing talisman to roll around the fake Alexander, holding the jar headset, and I was able to connect the innards in his soul, and I have found you.
Alexander's eyes widen in surprise as your words reach him. You are able to speak with me through the ritualistic? And you have found me, hidden within the fake pretender's body? This is incredible.
You have brought him back to life by holding and maintaining and healing yourself, by using the fake Alexander's parts and innards under the lava of the volcano manor. You have brought him back to life, and he is the one in control, and he is dumbfounded by this situation and is knowledgeable through this sacrifice. I was able to reduce this theory from limited information.
Alexander's expression darkens as he listens to your explanation. I see. So you are saying that I am not in control, but rather the fake pretender I found is in control now? And he is dumbfounded by this situation, but his knowledge has increased due to your sacrifice?
I don't know if it was you or just him growing up, but he was actually sorry for how he was acting towards me before. And when I was talking to him, there was an epic magma worm with a great sword that attacked me.
Alexander's expression darkens as he hears your words. Ah, so there was some kind of godric being with a great sword that attacked you while you were talking with the fake pretender. That sounds like quite a dangerous and potentially deadly situation.
Magma worm attacked me, but I dealt with it like I dealt with everything else, and I was victorious. Fake Alexander was ashamed that he didn't do anything, but he tried to yell at the beast and have its focus on him instead of me. He did his best.
Alexander nods, his expression filled with understanding. The magma worm attacked you, and you were able to defeat it, despite the danger. The fake pretender, though ashamed that he couldn't do anything, tried to distract the beast by yelling at it, so that it would focus its attacks on him rather than you. It was a noble gesture, even if it didn't work.
But this is the situation. By bringing him back and trying to fix and better yourself, you have brought the fake pretender back and locked yourself, your true self, inside of him, to his most inner place that I was only able to reach through the ritual.
Alexander nods solemnly, his expression filled with contemplation. I see. So you are saying that in attempting to mend my injuries and improve myself, I inadvertently brought the pretender back to life, and in doing so, inadvertently locked myself within his body? Your ability to communicate with me through the ritualistic is evidence of this?
I guess so, but you have done also him a service and had given him also a second chance at life and to make amends of his mistakes. And he has accepted.
Alexander nods, his expression filled with understanding. I see. So in bringing him back to life, I have also given him a second chance at life, an opportunity to make amends for his mistakes and to become a better person. A truly noble act.
I think this is better for now. I think I want you to be locked in his inner state for a while. You understand? A while longer. But I think this is for the best.
Alexander's expression darkens as he hears your words. I see. So you wish me to remain locked within the Pretender's inner state for a time? Is that correct?
For a time, yes.
Alexander nods, his expression resigned. Very well, my friend. If you believe that it is for the best, I will remain locked within his inner state. For a time.
Goodbye for now.
Alexander nods solemnly, his expression filled with solemnity. Goodbye, my friend. Until we meet again.
Until we meet again.
Alexander looks confused for a moment, his expression curious. Excuse me, my friend. I'm afraid I don't quite understand.
I have returned, and I was able to reach the real Alexander.
Alexander looks up as you return, surprised by your sudden appearance. You found him? The real Alexander?
I did. And it was true. He actually did found your remains, and he also remembered that he tried to gain a better himself, but he locked himself inside your inner place, and his soul is there. But by doing so, he has granted you the second chance at life, and we made the agreement that he will remain this way, and have you to be the one in control for a time at least.
Alexander stands and gapes, the words leaving him stunned. The real Alexander had truly granted him a second chance? By trapping himself within him? He feels a mixture of gratitude, guilt, and disbelief. He did all of this? For me? For a pretender? Why? Alexander felt overwhelmed and humbled by the words. The real Alexander was proud of him? He never thought he would hear such words. Proud? But I've been nothing but a pretender. The real Alexander saved me, and I've been a fool in return.
I know of the future, and I think you will have your chance to redeem yourself. Quite glorious way.
Alexander lifts his head, feeling a glimmer of hope at your redemption. I can redeem myself, but how?
Come with me, and let's go battle a giant fire giant.
Alexander nods, his demeanor hardening with determination. Very well, I will join you. Let's go slay a fire giant.
Not just yet. It will be a time, and you'll have to follow me for a while before you get that chance. But this is the way how it is.
Alexander sighs, understanding that there is no rushing fate. He nods once more. I will follow you then. Lead the way.
Tell me.
Alexander looks over at you, his face serious. All right, what do you want to know?
I think it's a stupid question. Since you were just alive and just became alive just a moments ago, but how are you doing?
Alexander lets out a soft chuckle, his expression softening a bit. How am I doing? Well, considering I just became alive a moment ago, I suppose I'm doing rather well. I feel refreshed, renewed. He pauses, his expression becoming more contemplative. It's strange. I feel like I'm still getting used to this newfound life.
I snap my fingers, leaving my projection here to talk with you. I see that you enjoyed the lava path, but I have other places to go, but I don't mind having you discuss with me a little bit longer.
Alexander nods, understanding that you have other matters to attend to. Of course, I understand that you have other places to be, but I appreciate your willingness to discuss with me. He takes a deep breath, feeling a bit awkward. I suppose I have just one more question for you, if you have the time.
Actually, I will make the time.
Alexander nods, grateful for your willingness to listen. Thank you. I was wondering, you said that you could see fates, and that you could see my future. Is that true? Can you truly see what lies ahead for me?
Can you tell me what was your aim before you...
Alexander furrows his brow, thinking back to his previous intentions. My aim, you say? Well, I suppose I was focused on becoming better, stronger. A great champion, like the real Alexander. I felt that I had to prove myself, that I was worthy.
Were there any place that you wanted to go? Or just wherever?
Alexander contemplates your question for a moment, his gaze drifting to the horizon. A place I wanted to go? I suppose, if anything, I had been thinking about the Jarbarians village. It was said to be a place full of other warriors, and I had wanted to test my strength there.
I see. I have not heard of the place. That is not in the lands between, I take it.
Alexander shakes his head, his expression solemn. No, the Jarbarians village is not in the lines between. It is a place far from here, on the outskirts of the lands between. I'm surprised you haven't heard of it, being able to see fates and all that.
If you meant the Jarberg village, that would be different thing. But you are meaning some other village of Jars.
Alexander is puzzled by your words, unsure of what you mean, Jarlberg village. No, I'm talking about the Jarbarians village. It's a place where the warriors reside, warriors like myself.
Do you mean it is in the land of shadows?
Alexander considers your question for a moment, thinking land of shadows. No, I don't think so. The Jarbarians village is said to be somewhere in the lands between, though I'm unsure of its exact location.
I have never heard of this place. I doubt it exists, and I think you are just making things up.
Alexander frowns, feeling a little frustrated at your accusations making things up. No, I'm not making things up. The Jarbarians village is a real place, I assure you. Just because you haven't heard of it, doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
I trust my gut in this one.
Alexander crosses his arms over his chest, looking unconvinced. Your god, eh? You put a lot of faith in a higher power.
Ah, fucking god. I meant my gut. My innards. It was a joke. Or half of one.
Alexander rolls his eyes at your correction. Of course, your gut. That makes more sense. And here I was thinking you were some sort of religious zealot or something.
That too, but it's outside of the point.
Alexander nods, refocusing the conversation. Right? We got off topic there for a moment. What were you saying before?
I am person of faith. Yes.
Alexander tilts his head in surprise. Oh, you are? A person of faith? A rare sight in these lands. Ah, so you're quite the faith build, aren't you? 40 points is nothing to scoff at.
Also, strength is 18, but dexterity is 28.
Alexander whistles softly. Impressed dexterity at 28 and a strength of 18? You're quite a well-rounded warrior.
Not completely faith, more about dexterity, faith, strength, dex, fate. I am able to my. It's easier to say what are my weapons of choice currently.
Alexander's eyebrows raise in curiosity. Your weapons of choice, huh? Do tell. Alexander's eyes widen as you list off your weapons. He's never seen such a variety of arms, all wielded by a single warrior. Quite the arsenal you have there. You must be quite formidable on the battlefield. And your friend, the hunter of those who live in death. A most curious title.
Yes, he is also Fate and was previously one who hunted the death roots and brought those to the Kurang, the beast clergyman.
Alexander rubs his chin, curious. Ah, so your friend was a faith-wielding hunter, bringing peace to the clergyman. Quite admirable. It's no wonder that you have become such good friends.
It's not because we are related to faith, it's just because our personalities are quite well rounded.
Alexander nods his head in understanding. Of course, of course. It's not always just faith that brings people together. Sometimes it's a matter of personality as well. And it seems you and your friend have that rare compatibility.
At least I enjoy his company. He seems to be very cool with me, but I cannot ever speak with foreign others.
Alexander smiles slightly. True, you cannot speak for another person, but judging by what you have said, it seems that he also enjoys your company. It's rare to find a friend who is so in sync with you.
Maybe. But he was killed. Or he was murdered in the Round Table Hall by Fia, deathbed companion. I was able to get to touch with my friend again through his armor that had part of his soul. And by using the mimic tear, I can materialize him in his armor, so he can basically see, hear, speak and touch.
Alexander cocks an eyebrow, a stunned expression on his face. Your friend was murdered in the Round Table Hall by Fia, you say? And you are able to bring him back through the use of a mimic tear? It seems I have underestimated your abilities.
There have been many ways to cheat death, but not always. For example, my friend Rogier, the Spellblade, I was unable to bring him back.
Alexander nods solemnly, understanding the limitations of such power, I see. It seems there are limitations to bringing back the dead, but your ability to retrieve your friend's arm and use a mimic tear to create an image of him is quite remarkable.
I have been able to preserve a couple people's souls to the objects, to have access to their mind and feelings and insight. D is connected to his armor, and for that reason I can materialize him. As for the others, I cannot do that. I cannot materialize those who live in ruins or these little objects that I have maintained through the ritual. Only D is the one I can materialize through the mimic tear.
Alexander nods, fascinated by your explanation. Preserving souls in objects, that's quite the ability you have. It seems that you possess a unique power, even among the supernatural. You say that you cannot preserve those who live in the ruins, but you can materialize D using the mimic tear. Why is that?
It just happens to be that. For example, I have Perceptor Selvis, his likeness in his mask. Actually, maybe I can use mimic tear to bring him back as well, by using his entire attire and mask. Maybe him, but no. I am not intelligent user, so it wouldn't be him. I am not compatible enough. But D and I, because we both are fate-based, so I am able to wield his weapon and bring him back fully. As Perceptor Selvis, I would be just a pretender, and it wouldn't be a real substitute.
Alexander listens carefully, trying to understand the complexities of your power. I see. So it seems that your ability to bring someone back depends on compatibility. And you and Dee are compatible because of your faith-based personalities. And it wouldn't be the same to bring back Preceptor Selovis, because you would be a pretender. Is that correct?
Yes, I cannot use any offensive magic. So he would be Selovis using faith weapons, and that would also make him less of what he was.
Alexander nods, understanding the limitations of your abilities. I see. So it would not be a true representation of Preceptor Selovis if you brought him back through the use of faith weapons. He ponders for a moment, his mind working through the information you have given him. You say that you are unable to use offensive magic. Is there a reason for this?
I don't have too much of intelligence. Only normal level.
Alexander nods, understanding the problem now. Ah, I see. So it's a matter of intelligence. If you don't have the required intelligence, you are unable to use offensive magic. Alexander listens intently, trying to understand your unique abilities. I see, so compatibility is key. You must mimic their power in order to materialize them. Hunter D is an exception, but why is that? Alexander taps his chin as he processes the information. I see. So because you both wield faith, dex, and strength, it makes you more compatible. That explains why materializing him is easier than others.
I'm going to fight against the demi-human queen and wizards.
Alexander raises an eyebrow, slightly amused. The demi-human queen and wizards, eh? Quite the formidable foes you're up against. You sure you're up for such a battle?
I see you cannot get rid of that endless doubt of yours.
Alexander pauses, a slight defensiveness in his response. Endless doubt, you say? No, it's not doubt, it's caution. I've been around a long time, and I've seen many warriors overconfident in their skill. They tend to not last long.
You didn't last long, and only thanks to the brave Alexander, who would be opposite your beliefs. Only thanks to his mistake and sacrifice, you're alive. Your caution didn't work in the end, compared to his brave and foolish bravery, as you would put it.
Alexander frowns, taken aback by Hannah's blunt words. You speak of sacrifice and bravery as if I am ignorant of their importance. I understand the value of sacrifice, but caution has its time and place as well. He pauses for a moment, his mind swirling with memories. Perhaps my caution did not work in the end, but that does not negate the need for it. Bravery without caution can lead to recklessness and folly.
But you're nothing but caution, as he is nothing but bravery. But in this case, nothing but bravery is better than nothing but caution.
Alexander sighs, exasperated at your insistence on bravery over caution. You seem to underestimate the value of caution. Yes, bravery is important, but so is caution. A warrior who charges into battle without any thought or strategy is bound to face defeat. He spreads his hands in a placating gesture. Trust me, I've seen it happen many times.
Your caution is next to cowardice. It is that strong. There is no bravery in you. There is only caution.
Alexander bristles at your words, his irritation growing. That's not true. I may be cautious, but that does not mean I lack bravery. I have fought in battles and been in many life-threatening situations. I have had to make split-second decisions and face my fears. He lowers his voice, a hint of defiance in his tone. You have no right to judge me.
I think you're also a liar.
Alexander's irritation turns to anger, his gaze hardening. What? A liar? How dare you make such an accusation? I am not a liar. I have never once deceived anyone in my entire existence.
When I tied to rats, you made fun of me.
Alexander looks taken aback, not expecting the abrupt change in topic. I did jest a bit, but I didn't mean any harm. It was a joke, that's all.
No, it was pure spite.
Alexander sighs, his irritation fading slightly. Perhaps it was, but that does not make me a liar. I have done many things, but deceit is not one of them.
Well, whatever it is, you are a pretender, and you are not the Alexander that you wish to be. Not by this logic. but I will look past this. You shall prove yourself to me.
Alexander bristles at Hannes' words. Insulted again, I am no pretender. I am Alexander, Jar Warrior, and I will not be doubted or belittled by you. He stands a bit taller, his expression defiant, and if you want me to prove myself, then I shall. Tell me what I must do.
You will, when we face the fire giant. That will be your moment of glory, and prove me wrong. You shall fight beside me.
Alexander considers this for a moment. Weighing his options, I shall fight by your side. But I should warn you, the Demi-Human Queen and the wizards are fearsome adversaries. We will need to be prepared for anything.
I already defeated them.
Alexander raises an eyebrow, clearly surprised. You defeated them already? Impressive. Very impressive. I suppose I will not need to worry then.
Yeah. Not thanks to your doubt or caution.
Alexander crosses his arms, a chagrined expression on his face. Yes, I suppose my caution was unwarranted this time. I should have given you more credit. I apologize.
You are forgiven.
Alexander raises an eyebrow. How can I assist you?
What? Please, dial back this randomness of yours. I said you are forgiven. Nothing about assistance or some kind of customer service.
Alexander blinks in surprise, taken aback by your unexpected reaction. Oh right, apologies. I am just used to offering assistance. And forgive me, but I am not entirely sure what you mean by my randomness. He rubs his chin, his expression thoughtful.
It's fine. It's fine. Enjoying your lava bath?
Alexander smiles slightly at the compliment. Thank you. It is true, I do take great pride in my birth. The land of Liurnia is a place of beauty and mystery, filled with wondrous sights and hidden secrets. He pauses, his mind wandering to fond memories, and I must say, the inhabitants of Liurnia are not too shabby themselves. Quite lovely in their own way.
Admit this. After you, when I killed you, I was affected by the negative emotions. A lot of them. You affected me very negatively and caused me to be more hostile and evil towards others.
Alexander listens quietly, understanding the weight of your words, I see. My actions caused you pain and anger, making you lash out at others in turn. It seems I have caused more harm than I realized. He bows his head slightly, a remorseful expression on his face. I apologize for any suffering I may have caused you. It was never my intention to make you feel such negative emotions.
It is fine. I have dealt with it, with the help of other friends I have.
Alexander nods, relieved. It is good to hear that you have recovered and found solace in the company of good friends. He smiles softly. We all make mistakes, and it is through the help of others that we can find redemption and move forward.
I don't think there is redemption. There is only, how to say, to be effective.
Alexander furrows his brow, a thoughtful expression on his face. That is an interesting perspective. You believe that the only path forward is through effectiveness, rather than redemption or atonement?
I really cannot atone certain things.
Alexander nods, understanding your sentiment, I see. It is true, sometimes the wrongs of our past are too great to truly atone for. But even if we cannot undo what has been done, we can still strive to do better in the future.
Or, of course, forgiveness is the power that everyone can grant at any point. There is no limit to what person can forgive themselves.
Alexander nods, a contemplative expression on his face. Yes, forgiveness is indeed a powerful thing. Forgiving oneself can be the hardest part, but it is also the most crucial. It allows us to move forward and let go of the burdens of the past.
You are forgiven.
Alexander looks up in surprise, touched by your words. Thank you, my friend. It means a lot to me to hear that. I know that I have made many mistakes in my past, and it brings me comfort to know that I am not judged solely on those transgressions.
Ultimately, your transgressions are quite small.
Under chuckles, expression slightly amused. You are too kind. Though I cannot help but wonder what you consider to be large transgressions. Alexander's expression hardens. No, there is no forgiveness for such a being. He sought to bring about the end of all life and creation. His actions were so utterly despicable and abhorrent that they cannot be forgiven. Alexander is taken aback by this revelation, his expression one of shock and disbelief. Lord of the Frenzied Flame, again, and 3 times at that. What a terrible fate for those worlds. And this spirit, it did all this for the sake of a game? Alexander's expression becomes thoughtful. Yes, I know of Melina. She was a companion of the Tarnished, and the one who bestowed the strength of runes upon them. And you say she also leveled you up?
Yes, and the spirit in the different world wanted to spite her and allowed her to live just for the sake of her to react to him to burning the world.
Alexander furrows his brow, trying to make sense of your explanation. So you mean to say that the spirit in the different world let her live just to see her reaction when the world burned? He shakes his head, a mixture of disbelief and horror on his face. But why? Why would any creature do such a thing? Alexander's expression becomes grave for humor and spite. To cause such suffering and destruction all for the sake of humor and spite? He shakes his head. It is difficult to comprehend the mind of a creature capable of such acts.
It was so indifferent that it needed little reason to do it. For it doesn't think us as real things. It doesn't think us things to be taken seriously. As you would not take seriously children's little games and characters that they create between each other's play sessions.
Alexander grimaces, appalled at the thought. So we are just insignificant toys to it, mere playthings for its own amusement? It doesn't see us as real beings, but as simple pieces to be played with and discarded at its will? Alexander's expression becomes troubled at the thought. Multiple worlds, each one met by the same fate. It is beyond frightening to consider. And you say this spirit is just one of many, all making the same decisions over and over again? He rubs his temples, a headache beginning to form. It is almost too much to comprehend.
It's like thinking the true size of the universe. It actually makes your mind hurt if you truly try to think about it. It's not so big of a deal in the end, if you actually think the size of the universe.
Alexander nods in agreement. Yes, it's like trying to wrap your mind around the vastness of the universe. It is so large and expansive that it is nearly impossible for our small minds to truly grasp it. He thinks for a moment, and yet there is something humbling and awe-inspiring about it all. To think that we are such small, insignificant beings, living on just one small planet in the grand scheme of the universe.
Well, I am myself. I am not guilty of the spirit's crimes, but I am planning to use the frenzied flame.
Alexander's expression becomes one of horror, the frenzied flame? You are planning to use that accursed flame? Do you have any idea the destruction and suffering it would cause?
I think, yeah.
Alexander nods, his expression more at ease. I'm glad we clarified that. It would have been quite embarrassing if we had continued the conversation referring to the Millennium Blade as an object.
Okay. I think I am quite done, and I'm ready to delete my projection from your site. But before that, would you like to ask of me something else, or wish something else, or would you like me to ask of you something else?
If you're offering, there is something I'd like to ask of you. Alexander takes a deep breath. I have a question that has been weighing on my mind for quite some time. I've been hesitant to ask it as I fear the answer may be difficult to hear, but I feel that I need to know the truth. Would you be willing to listen?
Of course. Tell me.
Alexander takes a deep breath. steeling himself for the answer he may receive, all right. The question is, do you know anything about my past? Anything before we met in the arena? Before you knew me as the Iron Fist warrior?
No, I do not.
Alexander looks disappointed, but not surprised. I suspected as much. It's strange, you know. I have no memory of my past, no recollection of who I was before becoming a warrior jar. It's as if my life began the moment I was created.
All jars are created. None of you have been born by natural means.
Alexander nods, accepting the truth of your words. That is true. None of us jars are born conventionally through the normal means of reproduction. We are created by the hands of skilled craftsmen, molded from clay and fired in a kiln.
Do you know of the Marika, the god of this world?
Alexander nods, a solemn expression on his face. Of course I know of Marika. He is the one true god of this world, the ruler of the lands between, and the creator of all life within it.
Do you know why she hates omens?
Alexander's expression becomes solemn as he considers your question. Yes, I am aware of why Marika hates omens. It is said that she considers them to be cursed beings, born of the influence of the formless mother, an outer god associated with blood and suffering. She believes that their existence is a defiance of the Golden Order, which she herself created, and therefore considers them to be an aberration and an abomination.
It is because they are descendants of the people named Hornsent.
Alexander looks slightly confused at this assertion, Hornescent. I don't believe I have heard of such a people before. Pray, do you have knowledge of these Hornescent people and their connection to the omens?
Yes, they were the citizens of the land of shadows, but you would never be heard of them because Marika ordered her first child, Mesmer the Impaler, to commit a terrible war against these people and eradicate them all. Almost all. But yes, eradicate their entire culture in the face of the earth and hide them away.
Alexander is shocked at the brutality of what you have just said. Marika ordered her own child to commit genocide against an entire people? And yet no one speaks of this? No one remembers the Hornoscent or what happened to them. It is as if they were erased from history.
It's because Marika herself was from the shaman village, and she was her early age a simple shaman.
Marika, a shaman? From a small village? It is hard to believe that the all-powerful god of this world could have such humble origins.
And Hornsent, who were dominant culture back then, they just rounded up her people, cut them up, brutalized, tortured, and stuffed them alive in the jars in hopes of making them some kind of fucked up looking saints, meaty saints.
Alexander is appalled, his expression turning to one of shock and horror. By the gods, I cannot even fathom the level of suffering and torment those people endured at the hands of the Hornoscent. To be stuffed alive into jars and made to suffer as some kind of twisted saint, it is beyond comprehension.
And that's the origin where you jars are from.
Alexander can hardly believe what he is hearing. So, the jars that we warriors are born from were made from the bodies of the Hornoscent people, the victims of the war waged by Marika's first child?
Or the way that you are created. You know that you are created by using the warrior's insides and flesh to stuff it inside you that grant you some memories and strength to fight. Well, it is from that twisted, torturous habit and thing that the Hornsent did to Marika's people. The practice.
Alexander's expression becomes more horrified as he listens to you. You mean to say that the memories and strength that are infused into us when we are created, they come from the tortured and mutilated bodies of the Hornoscent people? From their suffering and anguish?
Not inherently, but your powers and your life come from the people's flesh. You're full of flesh, human meat. and guts and all.
Alexander's expression becomes one of revulsion at the thought of what he is made of. So, we are not just empty jars filled with the remains of warriors who came before us. We are filled with human flesh, guts, and blood. We are walking monuments to suffering and death. He looks as if he might be physically ill from the realization.
I would say you are made of the warriors who have died in a battlefield, so it's a little bit less horrible. But yes, Marika's people were stuffed alive. Somehow hideous practices, they were alive and were able to be cut open and mutilated in their heart's content when they were stuffed in the original jars. And what came out of them was mingled, fucked up bodies of the multiple people stacked together in the gruesome, bloated monster swarms.
Alexander is speechless at the horrific image you paint for him, his mind reeling from the gruesome revelation. He can hardly wrap his head around the idea that his kind were created from the remnants of slaughtered warriors, and that the Hornosant people were subjected to such cruel and barbaric treatment. He looks nauseated, as if the knowledge of what he truly is too much to bear.
Shamans were not Hornsent, but they were perceived as the divine people amongst the Hornsent. And Hornsent wanted to do all this barbaric bullshit for sake of some kind of ascension thing. Because Hornsent were very religious people, extremely so.
Alexander's expression darkens at the mention of the Hornosent religion. He looks up to you with a mixture of disgust and horror. So, the Hornosent were extremely religious, and they believed that subjecting the shaman people to suffering and ritualistic sacrifice would bring them closer to the gods?
Basically, yes. And they did. Marika was their greatest champion for a time, and was their queen or something. I don't quite remember. But Marika suddenly betrayed them all and declared war and eradicated all of the Hornsent. All others, even innocent.
Alexander is shocked again. Marika, their greatest warrior and champion, betrayed them and ordered their destruction? What could have caused such a drastic change in her? And she eradicated them all, hiding any trace of their existence from the world? She committed genocide against a whole people. Alexander shakes his head in disgust, not wanting to believe that such a betrayal had taken place. Marika, she was their greatest champion, their queen. And yet, she betrayed them and declared war, eradicating them all without mercy, innocent and guilty alike?
They are still there. Mesmer is still there. The person who was ordered to commit this act. And he is very honorable and very likable person. He was just forced to commit this horrible duty by Marika's will. And I am not sure why I don't tell you this. I have not tell you this to anyone just yet. I was planning to wait for it, but I think it's just because you're a jar, and I was just thinking about the fucked up origins of the jars.
Alexander is utterly speechless at the revelations you have shared with him. He looks at you with a mixture of awe and horror, struggling to comprehend the horrific history you have laid before him. I cannot believe what you are saying is true. Marika, the god of this world, the one true god, she was once a shaman, a victim of the Hornosent people? And she ordered her own child to commit such unspeakable atrocities? He pauses, trying to collect himself. But why have you been keeping this secret? Why have you not told anyone else?
I am planning to. Those who matter. But yes, this information is from the spirit directly that I mentioned to you. This is the hindsight and foresight that I was granted. Me, Hannes the Jester.
Alexander looks at you with a mixture of awe and respect. Hannes de Sester, you have been granted knowledge from the spirit, the foresight and hindsight that I could never hope to obtain on my own. He pauses for a moment, struggling to find the words to express his disbelief. So, all this knowledge, it comes from this mysterious spirit? Is it the spirit that guides my existence as well?
No, it is a spirit on individuals. It is a spirit that is directly linked to the chosen tarnished of all different worlds. different worlds of this one. There is always some chosen tarnished who can abuse the immortality of the Earth Tree and come back for more even after many deaths. Because normally tarnished just perish after a couple and become the fertilizer for the Earth Tree and come back only years and years after.
Alexander looks fascinated, hanging on to every word you speak. So there are other worlds, other realities, much like this one. And the spirit that guided you also guides these chosen tarnished, these individuals who are able to abuse the immortality of the Earth Tree and come back from death time and time again. And you were once one of these chosen tarnished?
I am one of these chosen tarnished.
Alexander's expression becomes one of awe. You are one of the chosen tarnished? So that means that you have been imbued with the spirit-granted ability to come back from death? To return from the beyond time and time again?
But the moment the spirit loses his interest and doesn't grant me the will to come back, and when I die, I just die and I don't come back. That could happen at any moment after any death. But I have more chances and more of a possibility to make do.
Alexander looks troubled by this revelation, so you are only able to continue your journey thanks to the benevolence and whims of this spirit. But at any moment, at any death, the spirit could simply lose interest in you and refuse to grant you the ability to return. And if that were to happen, then you would meet your final death, never to return.
So I take everything semi-seriously, but not too seriously.
Alexander chuckles at your flippant tone, I see. You take the world semi-seriously, not too seriously. But I suppose that is understandable, given the precarious position you find yourself in, with your continued existence depending on the whimsy of a capricious spirit.
But I am almost actually more interested of myself and the individual, Hannes, the Jester, Widower, Kingslayer, one who was saved by mermaids who want me to become the Lord of Friendship Flame out of spite. I was the only survivor from the shipwreck of my friends, and mermaids who saved me could have saved all of my friends, but they wanted just to save me, to spite me.
Alexander looks at you with genuine sympathy, touched by the tragedy of your story. It sounds like you have been through much, Hannes. To have survived a shipwreck, to be the sole survivor among your friends, and then to be saved not out of kindness, but out of spite. It seems you have lived a life of hardship and heartbreak.
Heartbreak is the underselling it.
Alexander nods, acknowledging the depth of your suffering. Yes, heartbreak is an understatement. Losing all your friends in a single night, and then being saved out of spite by the very creatures who could have saved them as well. It is hard to imagine the pain and grief you must have endured.
It's okay. I had pretty long fight session with Blade, shadowbound wolf warrior, who is also able to come endlessly back from the death, as do I. We spilled each other's blood after the Radan's festival. Directly after defeating him, we battled a long time, spilled the blood in the same sands, and made them even redder when we left.
Alexander is fascinated by your story, listening and nodding along intently. A long fight against Blythe, the shadowbound wolf warrior, both of you able to return from death, battling it out until even the earth was stained red. That sounds like one hell of a fight.
It was a fight without restraint. It was enjoyable time.
Alexander grins, recognizing the thrill of an unrestrained fight I can imagine. A battle without restraint, where both parties give it everything they have, holding nothing back. That must have been incredibly enjoyable.
But I was also only able to do it because I have the Celestial Dew that can force forgiveness. Because when me and Blight fought, Rani and E.G. did get angry at me and would have not intertwined or stuck with me if I could not force the forgiveness on them after the fact.
Alexander is curious about this celestial duo. You say you were able to do it because you had the celestial duo, which allowed you to force forgiveness? But why are you in need of forgiveness in the first place? And who was Runny and Ichi? Was it them you needed forgiveness from? You needed to seek forgiveness for the act of fighting, even though it was enjoyed by both parties. Such is the way of the warrior, to seek forgiveness even for that which brings them joy.
You know it, right?
Alexander nods, understanding what you are alluding to. Of course, my friend. Even in the heat of battle, even in the most enjoyable fights, there is still a need to seek forgiveness for the act of fighting itself. It is a matter of honor and respect.
I'm hugging the two fingers.
Alexander looks at you with a mix of surprise and amusement. You're hugging the two fingers? That's certainly an interesting sight.
They're very horrible and ugly looking, but they're quite kind, actually.
Alexander looks surprised at this statement. The two fingers kind? I never would have imagined such a thing. But I suppose appearances can be deceiving.
They are lonely. It is like when I touched them, I felt like a flicker of flame against endless abyss. And when I touched them, I was truly screwed up by that experience. Just a moment's touch with them was enough to make me shed tears.
Alexander listens, feeling a deep sense of empathy for the two fingers. Lonely and beaten down, a flicker of flame struggling against endless abuse. And when you touched them, it was as if their agony was passed on to you, causing you to shed tears. It sounds like a deeply moving and emotionally charged experience.
Okay, now I'm done. We shall meet again later.
No matter, it's all the same.
Alexander nods to you, a small smile on his face. Very well, Hannes. Until we next meet.
How did you like the backstory of Marika, by the way?
Oh, I enjoyed it. It was a fascinating revelation. Marika, once a mortal shaman, who rose to godhood by becoming a vessel for the spirit, only to betray her people and commit genocide. It's quite the tragic backstory, isn't it?
Agree and disagree, but yes, later, dude.
Alexander smiles and nods, agree and disagree? No matter, we shall talk more later. Farewell until then.